I want to first say congratulations for making it to the halfway point of this mini course. I hope the first 3 lessons for communications, negotiations, and aligning objectives has given you some ideas how to embark on this journey towards cross-cultural performance mastery and achieving more favorable outcomes doing business in China. Today, we're going to talk about partnering. From my perspective, after literally talking to hundreds of different people over the past 15 to 20 years about doing business in China, there's always this misperception about needing a local partner. If you do business in any foreign country, you will need a local partner, but what happens when people go to China seeking a local partner is that's often exactly what they find, a local partner. And a China leadership dilemma occurs because the local partner isn't always the right partner. You may think it's just semantics, but it really comes down to your attitude, mindset, and approach towards finding a partner and the likelihood that that partner also ends up becoming the right partner. There's a misperception these days regarding your bargaining power in China. As China continues to increase its influence, politically, economically, and culturally, foreigners, as a general rule of thumb, no longer have the same bargaining power, even as they might have had just 5 to 10 years ago, when everything foreign was highly sought after by the Chinese. Whether it's foreign technology, foreign brands, foreign best practices, there's a perception in China that they wanted to import products and ideas because they perceived that foreign brands were better than the local equivalents. This is no longer the case. The macro trend has been going in the opposite direction. So I advise you not to ever think that being an American or being a German in any way, shape, or form gives you additional bargaining power. There's also misperception regarding what your bargaining chips are. In the Chinese cultural context, many of your bargaining positions evolve around giving face or Chinese reciprocity. If you want to give face, it's important to be aware what the other side values. Well, first and foremost, Chinese value their face. Chinese face is also associated with the company or organization that they are a part of. Chinese also have strong national pride. Even when you hear them being critical of certain situations in China, think of it this way. Only Chinese are allowed to be critical of Chinese. But mainly, what the Chinese care about are the immediate or short-term benefits for themselves, which might be financial, but it could also be something as simple as receiving recognition. So the greatest challenge for partnering in China is alignment. But it isn't just the alignment of goals and objectives. It's about the alignment of expectations. It's the alignment of values and processes, and especially it's about recognizing how to give and receive face. Things like values and processes are a little vague, so let me give you some specific things to be aware of when negotiating or forming partnerships. First, as we talked about in the aligning objectives lesson, it's recognizing when to emphasize short-term benefits and when to focus on long-term objectives. Because at any moment in time, short-term and long-term goals are usually in conflict with one another. So in Western terms, there's a trade-off decision that has to be made. In the Chinese cultural context of circular thinking, many trade-offs may create more problems than they solve, or talking about trade-offs may create more problems than they solve. So discovering the right approach to balancing these opposing goals is always a challenge. In the world of finance, we talk about time value of money. But in a circular world, the value of money may also have different implications. So differences in the perceived value of money is also a challenge to be aware of. When we talk about finance and the consideration of time, it leads us to another challenge, which is the value of time. You need to be aware that some people prefer to save money by allocating time, while others prefer to save time by allocating money. In any partnership, this often becomes a major challenge to overcome. And one final challenge that I've noticed about partnering in China is differentiating between transactional partnerships and a collaborative one. This challenge also ties into short-term versus long-term versus circular thinking. If you're looking for a collaborative partner, then make sure that you're also looking for the right partner when you're interviewing. If you lack self-awareness and cultural awareness, then you will be prone to many mistakes doing business in China. And awareness isn't something that you can develop overnight or learn from reading a book or taking a class. So if you're a newbie to China business, just be aware of these common mistakes that foreigners make and try to approach your interactions in China with a purpose-driven curiosity to connect your experience with your AMA value adjustments to achieve different outcomes. If you are a seasoned veteran in China, you've probably experienced many of these already, and you probably have your own CLD stories to tell. So I hope reminding you of these mistakes can help you imagine new scenarios to avoid them. Myopia. Myopia isn't a mistake per se, but is often a mistake to believe your eyes and ears because of your myopia, which means that you are viewing things through your own cultural lenses that have many inherent biases. This can cause a problem for you because CLDs are the result of these biases that you have. As we mentioned before, it is often a mistake to predict behavior of your partners or potential partners through a standard Q&A process. Just because you have experience doesn't mean it's transferable to China. I've seen many talented and experienced professionals use their standard modus operandi to select partners in China and then blame other reasons for poor performance. Or one person that I talked to recently about selecting an intermediary for white source products, white label products in China to sell on Amazon simply stated that I discovered my needs have changed, which is why I'm replacing this guy. He was quite confident when he first mentioned that he had just hired someone in China, and then less than a month later, his quote-unquote needs had changed. Guanxi is the key. We mentioned this before, and we will likely mention it again, but it is also a common mistake not spending enough time developing the relationship or Guanxi. Remember that Guanxi is the cornerstone of every aspect of Chinese culture. For partnering in China, the only meaningful tip I can give you is a mindset adjustment. Always seek the right partner and try not to think of your partnering objectives in terms of finding a local partner. Because finding a local partner and finding the right partner is probably a different set of questions. And if you select a partner based on short-term needs or transactional needs, then you'd be foolish to expect long-term results. Congratulations, you have finished the formal portion of the 4th lesson. And by now, you know what time it is. It's time to watch a video. And again, I'm just going to brainstorm and talk about this topic and just give you a different perspective to really think about partnering in China. And again, I would appreciate you leaving any questions, comments, or even suggestions. Thank you, and the message. Hi, I have the conference room for another 20 minutes, so I'm going to try to knock out one more video. First 3 videos were basically just recorded based on the first take, unedited. The 4th video is what we call Partnering 101. So one of the most important things that most people do when they go to China is they have to work with somebody, and whether they're a distributor or a supplier, we always try to refer to them as partners. But the purpose of this discussion is to focus more on finding a partner to accomplish some specific goals. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're going to China and you feel like you need a local partner to get things done, okay? So I've experienced a lot of successful and failed partnerships on my own. Even when I started this business venture, EME, it used to be called EME Career Consultants, because when I started this business in China, I was mainly helping Chinese people, Chinese MBA students, where I taught classes, and MBA and Chinese white-collar professionals, basically helping them understand how to be successful outside of China, helping Chinese understand how to be successful on a global stage. If they're working for multinational companies, how to break through the proverbial glass ceiling, whatever. So I started my business with a local partner. When I decided that I didn't want to be a consultant anymore because you're always on project, a friend of mine said, let's you have a lot of things that you can teach a lot of people. So let's start a business together. And I was just thinking, you know what? If I'm going to start a business in China, I need a local partner. And what better local partner than somebody who I know is an acquaintance. Even I called him a friend. And I don't want to get too long into this story, but I ended up partnering not with my friend, but I ended up partnering with my friend's wife. And basically, he had a full-time job, and he had a stay-at-home mother as a wife who had been away from the workforce, and he wanted her to learn from me, to work with me, and also he felt that my teachings and my ideas had a lot of market potential. So I ended up working with his wife, and his wife, of course, is Chinese. She understands a lot of local things that you would think a foreigner like me would need to understand about starting a business in China, setting up Chinese social media, setting up my Chinese WeChat service account, getting my business registered in China, setting up a local website and how you connect that. I mean, there's a lot of things that, yes, you need a local partner to do. But the advice that I give almost everybody that I talk to is, when you go to China with the mindset that you need a local partner, you're actually setting yourself up for failure. Okay? Because what happens is a lot of these local partnerships, and almost the majority of these local partnerships, they end up becoming dysfunctional. And there's a fundamental question is, why do these partnerships become dysfunctional? And it's not just because of the things that we learned in the first 3 video lessons: poor communications, not being able to align objectives, and not understanding how to negotiate with your local partners. It really doesn't have anything to do with that. It's that when you as a foreigner go to China and you think you need a local partner, that is the wrong mindset. Okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, we have to first think about, why do we think we need a local partner? So why did I think I need a local partner? Well, maybe I don't read Chinese, even though I speak Chinese fluently, so I need somebody to help me manage my WeChat service account. Maybe you're going to China for business, and it's a bigger type business, and you don't understand how to navigate the complexities of government relationships in China. Maybe you think you don't understand Chinese consumers very well, and you don't know how to do digital marketing in China. Well, all of those might be true, and all of those probably are true. And you probably do need a partner to help you with those. What I'm getting to is more basic and more fundamental to that. What I'm getting to is, when you look for a quote-unquote local partner, you're setting up yourself to find the wrong partner. Okay. What do I mean by that? It means that when you're looking for a local partner, the chances are your objectives are not aligned, because you're focused on what problems the local partner solves for you, whether it's language or government relationships or understanding Chinese social media or whatever. And when you start off with a fundamental misalignment of expectations, through the course of your partnership, it will eventually evolve into disagreements. And when they become dysfunctional, disagreements eventually become conflict. And that's what we mean by dysfunctional partnership. So this video, I'm going to try to make it a little bit shorter. It's a really fundamental tip. And the tip is this: when you're thinking in terms of a local partner, you're actually blurring your vision of finding the right partner. It's a big distinction. Yes, you need a partner who's local to China to do a lot of these things that you don't know how to do. But you have to think about it like this. When you're looking for a partner and you're interviewing potential partners, the questions that you ask when you are looking for a local partner are completely different from the set of questions you would ask if you're looking for the right partner. So think about that just for a minute. What questions are you going to ask in finding a local partner? What questions are you going to ask or additionally ask if you want to, quote, find the right partner? And when we talk about right partner, we're talking about long-term. We're talking about taking an idea and translating it into a sustainable going concern. It's translating an idea or a project or an initiative into a long-term viable business. If you ask those questions, then you will find the right partner who also happens to be local and can solve those local problems. If you're only focused on a local partner, then probably that's what you're going to get. Somebody to deal with your short-term things, get your business set up, get your WeChat service account set up, get your government relationships set up, and then what happens after that? Okay. Those are the things that you have to think about. So, yes, this lesson number 4 is a little bit shorter. Again, this is take 1 video lesson 4. Nothing has been rehearsed. It's just me talking to you directly. And I want you to talk back to me directly. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you want to learn. I have a lot of information through my 20 years of experience of doing business in China as an expat, as an entrepreneur, as a partner, and as an instructor. I mean, I teach classes to Chinese MBA students. I teach executive classes. I teach cross-cultural management to Chinese business executives. So I have a perception of kind of what are the key things that people need to know, but basically you need to tell me specifically what challenges you have. And maybe if you've read the articles that I posted, what are your specific China leadership dilemmas, your CLDs, where you experienced an unexpected disappointment and you're curious how you can avoid that. And that's where I think I can help you the most. Okay? Thank you for watching video number 4. I think I'm out of time today with this conference room. So next time you see me for video number 5, I may be in a different shirt. Okay? So again, raw, unedited. These are just my killer tips for the 7 most common business engagements that you may encounter in China. Okay? Thank you for watching video number 4.